if your buyer just backed out? Ugh. Maybe it's 5 days before closing, or maybe your agent just called a couple weeks in and said the words, financing fell through, and your stomach quite literally just drops straight to the floor. Here's what I need you to hear right now. This is not the disaster it feels like in this exact moment. Deals fall through in real estate transactions all the time for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with you or your home. And if your agent actually has a plan for this moment, you can be back under contract faster than you think. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what my team and I do the moment a deal falls apart in Rochester, New York, starting with a strategy most agents don't even bother with, which is lining up a backup offer before you ever need one. I'm going to tell you a true story about a deal of mine where we needed not one, but not two, but 3 backup offers, and why that saved my clients from a nightmare. And if there's no backup offer in place, I'll show you exactly how we remarket a home so that it comes back to market stronger, not weaker, the second time around. So if you're currently living this nightmare, or you just want to know how to protect your home should this ever happen to you, stay with me. Hi, my name is Susan Glins, and I am the founder and team leader of the Bespoke Homes team with Keller Williams Realty. We are a top 1% real estate team in the greater Rochester and Finger Lakes area of New York, and we are committed to helping our clients sell profitably and confidently. And if you are a homeowner considering selling in the next 6 to 12 months, then you've come to the right place. Okay, so the first concept we're going to get to today is that deals fall through all the time, and it's rarely about you. And let's start here because I want you to actually let that sink in. Deals fall through all the time for reasons entirely outside of your control. Buyer's remorse, a buyer who suddenly can't obtain financing like they thought they could, and sometimes it's genuinely catastrophic. I've had buyers lose their job days before closing, or in the most heartbreaking cases, I've seen buyers pass away before we ever get to the closing table. And none of this is about your home. None of that is a reflection of your pricing, your strategy, or your decision to sell. It's simply life happening to someone else's transaction, and unfortunately, that ripple hits you. It doesn't take away how hard it feels, right? But it's not your fault. So I think the single most important thing I want you to remember, if this ever happens to you, stay calm and carry on. Don't panic. This is exactly why you hired a professional in the first place. An expert agent isn't just there for the easy parts, the photos and the showings and the offer, right, and the fun stuff. An expert agent is there for this exact moment. We have a plan. We have a proven system. And most importantly, we know how to execute that system and that plan quickly, because in real estate, momentum matters. So let me walk you through how we actually do that. The first thing we do, ideally before we ever need it, is we secure a backup offer. And this is especially true in a strong seller's market, where you're receiving multiple offers right out of the gate. Let me explain exactly what a formal backup offer is, because I think a lot of homeowners have never heard of this. In fact, I think a lot of agents have never heard of this. A backup offer means that you as the seller formally accept a second offer in second position, contingent on non-performance of the first offer. So in plain English, if buyer number 1 falls through for any reason, then buyer number 2 is already lined up, ready to swoop right in without you having to start the entire process over from scratch, okay? And here's the honest truth. Some agents get lazy about this. They get one accepted offer out of a handful, they mentally check the box, and they move on to their next client. But an agent who genuinely cares about protecting you the entire process is going to secure that backup offer every single time it's available, because it is one of the most powerful safety nets in this business. I want to tell you a real story, because this is not theory for me. I have actually lived this. I once had a transaction, I had sellers in West Irondequoit, where we didn't secure just one backup offer. We actually had a second offer secured. And then when that one had some hesitation, we secured a third offer. So not 1, not 2, but 3 backup offers in succession. Out of, I think there were a total of 8 offers on the table. And thank goodness we did that, because during the attorney approval period, 2 separate buyers backed out. 2 in a row. And I won't pretend that that was not a roller coaster for my clients. They were beside themselves. It was a stressful handful of days. But because we had been diligent about lining up backup offers from the very beginning, we didn't lose weeks or months on the market. We simply moved forward to the next buyer in line, and my clients were spared an enormous amount of additional time and more heartache than they had already experienced. And here's the real benefit of a backup offer that people don't always realize. We didn't have to renegotiate our terms, right? We had already had an accepted price, accepted terms, an accepted timeline in most cases. So we simply just pick up where we left off with buyer number 2. The only thing that we typically need to adjust is the closing timeline itself, right? Depending on how much time it's passed since the backup offer was originally accepted, right? And that's the power of planning ahead. It's the difference between a 5-day scramble and a 5-minute phone call. Now, let's say that there wasn't a backup offer in place. Okay, no problem. It's time to remarket the property. And there are 2 ways that we can approach this. Option number 1, we simply change the listing status back to active, right? We alert the market that the property is available again. Option number 2, we formally expire the original listing and relist it as a brand new listing. Now, I want to tell you, we lean on my team, Bespoke Homes, we lean toward that second option as much as possible. And here's why. Relisting it as a fresh listing resets the clock back to 0 days on market. It also shows up fresh in a buyer search feed, right? And all their alerts. So that means that buyers who may have scrolled right past your home the first time now see it as brand new. And that's not spin, that's real strategy. And it genuinely generates renewed excitement for your listing. And here's where a lot of thoughtful work needs to happen, right? Because remarketing your home is not just about hitting relist, right? Hitting the button. We need to ask some real questions about pricing. We need to sit with each other, right? Your agent and yourself, and ask yourself some serious questions. Number 1, has the market shifted at all since we first went live? How did our original pricing strategy actually perform? Did it drive the activity we wanted in this market? Or did we learn something? And should we use a delayed negotiation period again, where we set an offer due date and let competition build? Or maybe does it make more sense this time to go first come, first serve basis and entice buyers to act immediately, right? And then beyond pricing, there's a whole other layer of thoughtful review that we walk through with every client. We'll look at, was there any feedback from the buyers the first time around that maybe we should address? Maybe there was a lingering odor in the home that was consistently brought up in showing feedback. Or maybe there's a paint color in one of the rooms that was a little polarizing for some buyers. We can address those the second time around. Has the season changed since the last time we taken photos, right? The actual season, like fall, winter, spring, summer, that maybe if it was photographed in the dead of winter tells a very different story than the same home in spring bloom. And then critically, did we learn anything from a home inspection that now legally needs to be disclosed to future buyers? Say, for example, mold was discovered in the attic and remediation has since been completed. That needs to be communicated properly. Or has anything changed in the home itself since we first went under contract? Maybe, and I've had this happen, maybe the hot water tank was replaced because it went. And now we can take advantage of that brand new hot water tank in our marketing, right? So all of that needs to be accounted for both strategically and legally before we can go back to market. Now, when we relaunch to the market, we don't just cross our fingers and hope, okay? We take a grassroots approach. That means personally calling or texting every single agent who has a buyer with a saved search that matches your home. So we don't wait for the algorithm to do the work. We make the calls ourselves. And I love how we position it to the new buyers, okay? Because we tell the new buyers that the previous buyers, their loss is your opportunity, Mr. Buyer. And here's something that I want you to understand because it really, really matters. When a deal falls through, a home can unfortunately pick up a little bit of a stigma, right? Buyers that are out there see it come back on the market and they think, well, what's wrong with it? What happened here? Right? Is there something wrong? And in the vast majority of cases, the truth is it had nothing to do with the house at all. It was all the buyer's situation. Frankly, if anyone should carry a stigma here, it's the buyer who backed out, not your home. But I guess that's for another video. So we lean into full transparency on my team. We proactively explain what happened, and that helps put future buyers at ease and remove that whisper of doubt before it ever has a chance to take root. And finally, we drive as much renewed interest as possible right out of the gate, including hosting a public open house to create that same energy and buzz that we had the very first time your home hit the market. So if your deal just fell through, or you're worried about what happens if it does, here's what I want you to remember. This happens constantly, and it is almost never about you or your home. What matters most is having an agent beside you who has a real plan, who fights to secure backup offers before you ever need them, and who knows exactly how to relaunch your home with strategy and confidence if it comes to that. Stay calm, carry on. This is what we're here for. If you're ready to start your home selling journey and you're seeking expert guidance from someone who is willing to have the tough conversations to create clarity and empower you to move forward with a plan, click the link below to connect with my team and get started today. And if you're a discerning homeowner in the Rochester and Finger Lakes area and you found this content valuable, do me a favor and hit the like button. You can also subscribe for more content just like this, or drop a comment down below to tell us what you'd like to hear next time. See you soon.